Because I know you had talked about before that you've seen like Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
What about Dragon Ball was interesting to you? Like, what about it was like I enjoy this.
Well, first of all, I would say the first thing. Well, first off, okay, so what I want to interject real quick. Wikipedia had a profile of me up, and they had me quoting or saying that Goku was my inspiration for something. I have no, if anybody, I have no idea where they got that. I haven't. I saw a couple of things on Wikipedia that I have no
Wow.
idea where they got that from. And I actually attempted to get it changed, and they ended up taking my profile down because I attempted to get it changed. I'm like, that's not true, though. I didn't say that. So it
Right.
was like stupid. It was like, but maybe like Wikitubia. Well, I think Wikitubia has a profile of me up now or
Mm,
whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. There's a lot of things like there's a lot of quotes attributed to Bruce Lee that he never said, but it sounds like
correct.
he would have said it. So you know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah. But so with Dragon Ball, as a kid, I didn't know I was watching Dragon Ball. There was this animated movie that came on when I was a kid, and I was a fan of Japanese animation, which they would call Japanimation when I was younger. I remember that. Before they would
Really?
call it anime over here, they would call it Japanimation. I remember that.
Japanimation.
Yeah. Yep. Around
So
that
what
time
shows were
that
you watching?
well, I wasn't. I would watch
Oh.
anything I could when it so as a kid I noticed there was a difference between Scooby Doo and Robotech or
Mm,
Tranzor Z or Voltron. I noticed there was something different and I liked it.
right.
You know what I mean? And then there was this cartoon on with this little kid with spiky hair, and
Mm.
he was kicking people's butts. And I was like, I remember hitting the record. I put the tape in and I recorded. Yo, and I think it was like Mystical Adventure or something.
Mm.
When he, I think it's one of the first time he runs into, what's his name? Tao Pai Pai or something?
Yeah, it's wow, my brain farting. I know you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah,
General
I
Tao.
remember. Yeah, and I remember because he jumped up and he hit the pillar, Tori, Tori, and he hit it with the. And he
Yeah.
said, and he said something like, "You said something like, where the Dragon Ball was." He said, "I'll be back in a half an hour." Ah! He threw it, and then he jumped on it. He was
He
just,
jumps on it.
yeah, he just killing. I was like, "Yo, this is crazy," and it was not an ocean dub, but it was a different dub. There's like
Mm.
I found a little bit of footage out there. His name is Zero in the movie. His name is not Goku, it's Zero.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it's Zero. I'm telling you, one night I was online just looking different stuff up about this. It's out
Mm.
there. You can find it. There's a certain
Oh,
dub where they
I'm
call him
so
Zero.
interested now. This is
Yeah,
so
he actually has.
crazy.
Yeah, he had a better voice. Tao had a better voice than he does in the movie with like the real movie. He does. He
Right.
do more commanding. But anyway, I remember watching that and I was just like, "Yo, this kid is no joke." Fast forward to my teens, it was like the only thing I'd ever seen on him. All of a sudden, there's this thing called Dragon Ball Z that's coming on Sundays. And I think it was channel 17 in my area. 57 or 17. I remember that.
Mm.
And I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, I'm into it. I'm like, is this the kid that I remember
Mm.
seeing when I was a little boy? And the more I got into it, I was like, I think it's this kid. And I'm like, yo, Japanese animation does stuff where they grow up with you. I'm like, I that was the most intriguing thing to me at first with Dragon Ball
Right.
Z. I was like, he grew up with me. This is nuts. So,
Right.
and then the more I got into it, of course, all the martial arts, the fact that Goku thought that he could do anything, even
Mm.
though he might not be able to, not having that limitation in your mind allows you to
Yeah.
reach levels that other, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, rational thinking people might not be able to reach because they're kind of like, you know. That's the reason why Vegeta's always impossible, because he doesn't think
Exactly.
like Goku.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know, but he's a hard worker, and that's the
Right.
reason why he's my favorite. He is. He's my favorite in the whole show. You know,
Yeah.
his hard work ethic. As much as they beat him down and they make him look stupid because of his arrogance and stuff, but the one out of all the quotes that he has, one of my favorite that gets me hyped is when he's fighting Majin Buu, stalling time for Goku. You
Mm.
remember that?
I don't
And
know the quote, but
Majin Buu, I don't remember it either, totally. But Majin Buu beats him into the damn ground.
mm.
And he finally gets up. He's like, "What? You think I would give up?" And he's walking toward him holding that arm that he
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah,
holds.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And then he, Kid Boo's just looking at him like,
Eh,
"What?"
what the hell's going
And
on?
he's just letting him know, "You fucking with me. Prince
Yeah.
Vegeta!" You know what I'm saying? He goes Super Saiyan again. And I'm just like, yo, that is how you gotta be with life, man.
Yeah.
You gotta take it by the horns, man. So, yeah, Goku and Vegeta probably inspire me the most out of them all.
Mm. Yeah, it's so crazy because I had a very similar take to the show like you did. Was
Mhm.
when I had to be in like maybe middle school, maybe sixth grade, and it was on Cartoon Network. Dragon Ball Z, it was on Cartoon Network, and I was like, "What is this?" And I had heard later on that they actually brought Dragon Ball to the States for a very short run in like the 90s, like the early 90s or something like that, or the either the early 90s or the late 80s. And they were trying to test it in the States,
It
and it
worked,
just didn't
right?
work.
Right.
And they pulled it. And then they brought Dragon Ball Z to the States in like the mid to late 90s.
Hmm.
But I remember when I saw it, and I was like, it was coming on every day on Cartoon Network, and I was like,
Okay. That was
hold
after
on.
I discovered it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, because like when I'm watching, I'm like, hold on. I was like, it's the next. So this story continues. Like I never seen a show
Yeah.
like that before, where I was like, oh, the very next episode takes place like right after. I was like,
Yep.
this is weird. I was like, this is a new
Yeah.
thing. And it was a very similar thing for me, with Goku and Vegeta, and like I was like, oh, this is so cool, and so it's so interesting because you saw. So when did you actually end up watching it? How old were you when you saw it?
Oh, I was a teenager, I think.
Mm,
It was, like I said, I know I was watching it every Sunday morning.
mm,
At the time, it was the Ocean dub. It was
mm-hmm.
real. It was, you know, edited to hell. There was when
Oh yeah,
they would tell you, "I'm gonna send you to the next dimension." They
Dimension.
didn't say
Yeah,
it right.
yeah,
They didn't say, "I'm gonna
yes,
kill you."
yeah.
So yeah, and Toonami was after it gained traction. I was
Right.
already buying tapes from
Oh
hobby
wow.
stores. Yeah, I was already buying VHS tapes from hobby
Oh
stores that had
wow.
3 or 4 episodes on it when it started showing on Toonami.
That's so
Yeah,
crazy because yeah, because you would have been. Because how old are you?
I'm 46.
Well, black don't crack. Let's go.
I'm
So that's so crazy.
got
You
that
look like
Master
you're in,
Roshi herb or whatever
yo.
it is.
You look like you're in your 30s for sure. Because I was like, what? So, so you say you're 40. What?
6.
We're literally 10 years apart, which is
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
But this makes a lot of sense though, because when I was seeing it on Toonami, and you were already buying it in stores, because I couldn't get to stores unless I had somebody take me to it. I didn't know nothing
Right.
about that, so that actually makes a
Right.
lot of sense. Because I started getting the tapes when Dragon Ball Z was done, and GT started to. I started hearing something about Dragon Ball GT, so I started buying tapes for GT. I was like, oh, what's this GT thing?